Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here tonight. As always, if you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video if you like it. For those of you who come back every week, I thank you so much for your support. As always, I do want to start the video by telling all of you that private tarot readings are always available. All you have to do is email me and we'll set it up. My email is going to be in the description box. Right now, turnaround time is either same day or the following day. I try to get them out as quickly as I can. It's done in this very same fashion as a regular weekly video, and you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to be there. You don't have to set up a time. I do everything. I upload the video. Once it's uploaded, it's always set to a private unlisted video, so you're the only one who has access to your video. Once it is up, I email you the direct link to your video. That way you can watch it at your convenience or as many times as you like. So if you have somebody in your family, you would like to gift them a reading that is phenomenal for yourself, those are always available. And thank you to all of you who have reached out for private readings. I really do appreciate it, and I truly enjoyed doing readings for all of you, so thank you. Okay, so as promised, well, no, not as promised, because I promised to get this video up hopefully Friday, and here we are on Saturday, and on top of that, Saturday late evening. It's almost 8, so I apologize, I'm a little late, but this is a requested video, and it is going to be on Michael Vaughan, Monkey, that he was nicknamed, the adorable nickname of Monkey. I have to be honest, I don't know a lot about this case. I think I have been so zoned in on Summer Wells for the past year. I just kind of blocked everything out. I tend to focus on 1 or 2 cases at a time, and this is just a really heartbreaking story. I've only watched one video, and that was a live from Michelle After Dark. If you go to her channel, she does have playlists, and so she had a Michael Vaughan playlist, and I can't remember if I just picked the first video or if I went down the line. I'm not sure, but a couple days ago I did watch that 2.5 hour live, and really interesting. I mean, right away what struck me was that Michael could have been an eloper. It sounds like he may have left the home a couple of times, walked around. I think that there was a splash pad that was near where they lived, and he would go down there, and I believe that that's where Dad thought he may have went to that night he went missing. He would go to the neighbor's house, apparently he even left earlier in the day, if I'm not mistaken, and was taken home by a neighbor, or the neighbor watched him walk home, or something to that effect. So anyway, that's what we're going to read on today, and I will read the paragraph here that I have that talks about the time and date that he went missing. So Michael, who is nicknamed Monkey, was last seen at around 6:30 p.m. on July 27th, 2021 in the area of Southwest 9th Street in Fruitland, and I think that's Idaho, Fruitland, Idaho. At the time, he was 5 years old and described as 3 feet 7 inches tall, weighing about 50 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. Michael's 6th birthday was on June 24th, 2022, so he is now 6 years old. 6 years old. Monkey. All right, so let's just get into it, and I want to first and foremost just kind of ask, I want to go back to that day and see if we can kind of get an idea of the overall energy. What was the overall energy? What was going on? What was going on in little Michael Vaughan's life at that time? Michael Vaughan, Monkey. What happened on that day? July 27th, 2021. What happened on that day? What was going on? What's going on in Michael's life? What was going on, Michael? Michael Vaughan, Monkey. All right. Okay, so we have Dad coming up as the King of Cups, and this really is appropriate. I'm glad I chose this deck. This is the Book of Shadows Tarot that I'm using, Volume 2. I really like the images. They're modern and just different from the traditional tarot decks, but this is dad, and it is coming out in reverse. And so, first and foremost, I think that dad was possibly overwhelmed that day because, this dad here looks like he's busy. He's got 3 kids at the table, and from what I understand, Michael had obviously the younger sister that dad was changing the diaper of at the time that he went missing. I think that there's an older sister and maybe a brother. I think there is a brother as well. So that's a lot, right? You got 4 kids, you're busy, and the ages seem to be pretty spread out. So you've got a baby, and then you've got possibly a teenager. I think that the oldest daughter, I don't know exactly how old she is or was at the time, but so you're busy, right? He's multitasking. He's doing a bunch of stuff. And so I believe that day, that's exactly what was going on. He was a little bit overwhelmed. He was doing different things with different kids and, emotions maybe. This is the King of Cups after all. I think an overall feeling of being overwhelmed and trying to get everything done and watching the kids and doing this and doing that. I think he said he went back into the back room to change a diaper, and he also put in an order for pizza. So, he's trying to feed the family. He's trying to take care of the baby. He's trying to watch Michael. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. And so I feel like for him, that was a lot. It's significant because it's coming out. All right. And then what do we got? We got the 4 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so dad's coming out right away, and we have a very, very strong female presence here, and I do think a couple of these are mom, all right, but I am now starting to wonder if we don't maybe have a female involved in Michael's disappearance. So the 4 of Swords, again, I really do kind of wonder if this was maybe dad. It is sitting next to dad, and this is all about a rest card. This is just kind of taking a break from the chaos, and I really do believe that that's what he was doing in the back room. Maybe he stepped in the back because he just needed some quiet time. I have to admit, okay, I'm going to be honest, and I don't mean to, I'm not saying anything about the dad. I'm just absolutely so sorry for this family that this has happened, but if I'm being truly, truly honest, I did question in my mind, if Michael possibly was an eloper or, would leave the house like that, why not just change the baby's diaper on the sofa or in the living room? Everything is clear in hindsight, of course, and I'm sure that he wishes that he had done things differently, but it just makes me wonder, because I'm not quite, I don't know. But this one here kind of explains it. It's like he wanted to get away. He wanted to go to that back room. He needed a break. He needed a break from everything that was going on in the house. So, yes, he went back there to change the baby's diaper, but he also went back there to get a piece of quiet time. And he's regretting that today. He regrets that. I mean, this is, to me, with these women coming out, I do believe, again, I'm picking up a female person for whoever did whatever to Michael. And I'm also picking up the mom, but I also feel like this applies to dad as well. And so both parents are absolutely devastated. They are absolutely devastated. Their life has not been the same. Their life is probably never going to be the same again. This 9 of Swords just really this is a deep card. It's just a really deep card. We don't sometimes take it as seriously as it should be taken. And, that really just tells me the state of mind that mom and dad of Michael are in at this point. And I feel like dad is just absolutely beyond guilt. Okay, he feels guilty because I feel like he knows that he needed this break. He was overwhelmed. He was busy that day. He was I feel like he had about had it, and he really, really regrets doing what he did, and that was leaving Michael unattended for 15 minutes or whatever it was. The Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, I feel like this is mom, okay? And I feel like there's, with it being the wands, you know, that's a fire energy, and that's a big fire right there. That's a big bonfire, and mom is serious. Looks like the girl is about ready to stick her hand in that fire, and she's stopping her. So she's looking at her with this intense kind of scolding look, right? Like, don't do that. You can't touch that. You're going to get hurt. And so there's some seriousness to this card. But with all of that fire and all of it, and the fact that this is coming out reversed, I feel like mom is angry. Mom is filled with rage, okay? Filled with rage. There's something there, I think. Again, I don't know the story enough. I think that they probably put up a united front, but deep down inside, mom is raging at dad. She is raging at dad. And that is absolutely, I think, doing him in even more, all right? Interesting that when I read the overall energy, Michael didn't come up yet. He has not come up yet. This is all about the house now and what happened that day with mom and dad, in particular dad, because he was the one there. Mom is really, really angry. Rightfully so, right? But, you know, it's an awful situation. The Queen of Pentacles reversed. This is a different Queen of Pentacles. It's a couple. Almost looks like the Lover's card, or it could be the Sun card or something like that, right? It's just a good feeling card. This is, again, mom, and this is the relationship. When I see these two here, they are, like I said, I don't know this case well enough to really know what has been put out there about the parents. But from the clip that Michelle had in her video where they did the interview and they were sitting in front of the house on like the lawn chairs, they do, you know, I think they are kind of holding hands, if I'm not mistaken. And so I do feel like they put up this united front, right? Just like this. This is them. You know, they show that support to one another in the public. However, behind closed doors, she's fuming at him. She is fuming at him. And I would say that there's probably a lot of things going on in that home. And you can imagine, right? I mean, your child was probably kidnapped. And I can't even imagine what the father is going through given the situation in this particular case. The Eight of Pentacles. So I do feel like, I mean, this is a work card, right? I feel like they are doing everything that they can to help the police find Michael. I really do. I think that they are more than willing. I mean, she's got a smile on her face, so they are more than willing to help as much as they can. I do believe that the police did come out and say that they were being cooperative. Yeah, that comes through in this card. Absolutely cooperative. I also think that they're very hands-on. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do searches themselves, or if they, you know, drive around, or whatever it is. If it's on, you know, the computer, what they can do, if it's making sure that flyers are out, or whatever the case may be. I feel like they are absolutely doing it. Especially mom. Mom is absolutely determined to do whatever she can to get her son back. All right. So let's see. Let's keep going. All right. Okay. What about Michael now? Let's pick up some of the energy. Well, I want to focus on the person responsible. What happened? What happened? Who is responsible for Michael's disappearance? Who is responsible for Michael's disappearance? Who is responsible for Michael's disappearance? All right, so we have, these kind of just fell out. I am going to take all of those because they all came out. We've got the Magician reversed. We've got the Justice card. I'm happy to see the Justice card. But there's something else that I'm thinking about with that card here. We've got the Hanged Man, we've got the Strength card, and we've got the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so I'll leave these down here for now. I will put those up so you can see them, but let me go through those first. First and foremost, I feel like this is a woman. Okay, I feel like whoever's responsible for doing whatever to Michael, taking Michael, keeping Michael, okay, it's a female. I feel like it's to me, I get strong female, feminine vibes. And, you know, again, this is somebody who, you know, obviously is sick, right? We know that this person is sick because you have to be in order to do something like this to someone else, or to take a child that doesn't belong to you, or anything for that matter. This is a woman, you know, who, you know, the magician, especially when the magician comes out reversed, that's, you know, that's somebody that you can't trust. All right. That's somebody who's sneaky. Again, I feel like this is a glimpse into the personality of this woman. You know, very, very manipulative. Okay. And with this for sale sign, number one, straight off the bat, I don't think that she's still in that area, which makes me feel like I'm getting a good vibe that Michael is still alive. I really am feeling like Michael is still alive, not in that area. I feel like there's a woman who is responsible and, you know, could have been in that neighborhood, could have very well lived in that neighborhood at one time, or in the surrounding area close by, because of this for sale sign. But because of the for sale sign, I feel like she left, okay, afterwards left. I also wonder if maybe Michael Vaughan's parents are considering to leave. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. But as far as, you know, because I asked about the person responsible, or persons responsible, I should say, I feel like this person was from that area. But after this happened, they moved away. Now we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So we've got four. We've got four major arcanas in this first pull, or in this second pull. So that's interesting. Yeah, so that would be definitely a move. I'm sorry, I was looking at that Lover's card because it also makes me feel like, it makes me think back to, I know this is the pull on the person responsible, but it also makes me, again, you know, look at the parents. There's something here with the parents coming up, possibly. We've got a husband and a wife. But seeing this negative energy around mom and dad, with this anger, maybe not negative energy, but this anger coming from mom, I think that she has towards dad. I don't think that she would ever express that in the public. But this also coming out in reverse tells me that there's definitely issues there in the relationship as a result of this. So I just wanted to add that too. But then we've got this Wheel of Fortune. And again, this is a generational card. It's the Wheel of Life, right? The Tree of Life. Everything's in constant motion. But number one, they're all females. All right? They're all females. And they're all connected. They're all connected. So what's the connection? There's a connection between this person and Michael and his family. There's a connection there somewhere. Whether it's in the same neighborhood, whether it's, there's something there. We've got the Justice card again. First thing I noticed when I pulled this card was the female, but more importantly, it's the Justice. And so, you know, that gives me hope that there is going to be, you know, something discovered, because I very much believe that Michael is alive. I feel like a woman took him and still has him, and, you know, took him out of that area. And it's scary. I mean, it's good that I feel like he's alive, but then it's scary because the longer it goes on, and the longer he stays away, the more he's going to physically change. And it's going to be harder to identify him. But I mean, I know that, of course, there's, you know, easy to identify. If they found him, they would be able to figure out who he was. But what kind of damage is done to this poor child and this family in the meantime? And with this one too as well, it makes me feel like this person who's responsible, potentially this woman, very proud of herself. Look at that smile on her face. There's something really off about this woman. And then we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. This to me is Michael. All right, this is the first card of Michael coming out, and you know, it makes me wonder if he was out longer than they anticipated. I really wonder if he got lost, if he got turned around. He might have gotten turned around. This might not have happened on their street. So the cars, I did watch in the video that there's a couple of cars that they seen on camera footages or doorbell, you know, cameras or something like that. I think there was a couple of cars, a jogger, and somebody else. And I think the only person that came forward was the jogger, if I'm not mistaken. And they have never been able to identify the other ones, which is odd, because if they're in that area, then they've heard about this and they knew that they were probably on that street. So why didn't they come forward? That's very suspicious, all right? But this is a lost card. The Five of Pentacles, let's just forget the whole overall meaning of it, and let's look at this image for a minute, because we have a young girl in the middle of the woods in the wintertime. So she's cold, she's confused, she looks scared, she's lost. She's not getting good directions from these little guys up here because they're both pointing in opposite directions, and so it's making it more confusing. She's looking around and trying to get her surroundings together. And so again, with this 5 being reversed, I feel like this is actually Michael. But for him to be lost means that he might have traveled a little bit further than normal. Okay, he might have taken a wrong street or got, I mean, he's 5, right? He's 5. So I take wrong turns now, and you know, so it's very plausible that he went down a street that he thought he was going down, and just for whatever reason got turned around, and he could not get back home. He couldn't get home. And with the cold, okay, he was, let me see, this was July 27th. All right, so July 27th at around 6:30, so it's probably still warm. You know, probably even hot around that time, but the 6:30 thing makes me feel like there might have been a little bit more time. I mean, of course, last seen at 6:30, but I think that he was wandering around for a bit longer than they're thinking, to the point to where he may have gotten chilly. So I don't know. Again, you know, this is July. Sometimes it's hot all the way up until it's hot all night long, right? But I don't know what he was wearing. I'm not sure what he was last seen, if he had a tank top on, or if he had shorts, or if he was barefoot. I don't know, but I feel like there's I think that he potentially was out there for so long that he did get chilly. He got chilly and he got turned around and he got lost and he was scared. So what happened in that time? Did somebody see him? Was it on a neighboring street that they're thinking maybe he was taken from that particular street and he was not? Maybe it was 2 streets over. The Hanged Man reversed, the 6 of Pentacles reversed, and the Strength card. Again, we've got women. Now I know this is a deck that has majority women, but I am picking up a feminine vibe with this case. All right, so we've got aged. I really feel like looking at this card, he's already changed. He's already changed in physical features, because when they're young like that, you know, 5, 6, 7, yeah, they're growing quickly, right? And you know, of course, when we see them every day, they tend to look the same. But you know, think about when you go to visit your grandparents, and you know, they haven't seen your kids in 6 months, and they're like, oh my God, you've changed so much, you've grown so much, we can't believe it. I do feel like this is a indication that already Michael is starting to change his physical features. He is growing, he is getting bigger. Again, look at the geography in this card. We've got mountains. Now I think I said that this was Idaho, Fruitland, Idaho. I imagine that there's probably some mountains out there in Idaho. With that for sale sign on that lover's card, though, it makes me think that she or whoever's responsible left the immediate area, but they very well could be in an area where there are mountains, and I feel like she's not very far away. I mean, it could be in a neighboring state, but somewhere, I would say, out west in that area, in that location. And she's running. She's on the run. She's on the run. Okay, she's taking him and she is on the run. Again, with the age thing, I looked at that first and foremost as Michael, but she could also be older than, you know, what you would imagine. So there's that as well. Again, we have another female here, the Six of Pentacles. Giving and receiving, balance, imbalance. All right, let me hold off on that one for a second. We've got the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man in this one is reversed, and so that's in limbo. She's literally living in a state of limbo. So I guess if I look at these three cards here, in limbo, running, okay, and then we've got that financial card in the middle reversed, and so it makes me wonder if she is just barely making it day by day. And then couple that in with that Five of Pentacles. This is I think a situation where she is constantly moving. She's constantly moving because Michael Vaughan's face is out there, and especially in that area. I'm sure everywhere, but you know, she can't risk taking him out in public or someone seeing him. And so I feel like she is living in this state of limbo, and you know, just literally barely making it financially. I don't know what she does to support herself, but this to me doesn't look too good for her. And then the constantly having to be on the run and on the move. Let me pull a couple more from this deck here. They're just falling out today. We've got the Four of Wands reversed. We've got the Chariot. Yeah, she's always moving. She's always moving. Possibly even, you know, to be honest with you, with this Chariot here, it makes me wonder if she's always in a vehicle. Do they live out of a vehicle, perhaps? Or, you know, is this going from motel to motel type of situation? But I feel like there's constant movement. There's constant travel. Four of Wands, that's foundation, home, family, all of those good things, celebration. Again, you know, it's coming out in reverse next to that movement card. And so it's like not having a stable foundation, not having a stable home. And you know, that just, this one here makes me sad because it's a card about celebration. It's a happy time. It's a joyous occasion. Family is getting together, and it just has that sad feeling, that overall sad feeling when I see this come out in reverse. And so it's like times where, you know, Michael should be celebrating and having, you know, these good times with his family and making memories. Those have been robbed from him. It's a sad feeling card that I'm getting from this one, and I don't like it. I don't like the car either. It makes me wonder if, you know, also there's several people in this car. So, you know, is this woman not working alone? But look who's driving. It is a female. We do have males in this one here too. We have 2 males and we have, it looks like maybe 3 females. And so I do feel like that this is the person we're really focused on, but there could be other people involved as well. The Eight of Wands. Doesn't this Eight of Wands look like the Magician? Literally looks like the Magician. And the Magician did come out, so this is a very sneaky, manipulative person. But this is something that, when I see this, it's like manifestation comes to mind. But, you know, that will, making something happen, planning, wanting, all right? It makes me think that this could have been planned, especially here with the Four of Cups. Was she, you know, in her mind, was she really fantasizing about this? Was she, it just makes me feel premeditation, all right? It was the opportunity that she took, but this could have been well thought out in advance. It almost makes me feel like she had been watching the family, to be honest with you. She was just waiting to seize the opportunity when Michael was alone, and I feel like he could have been very well by himself, lost, turned around, and maybe he got tired and he sat down, and it was just the opportunity that she took. He very well could have went with her because maybe she asked him, "Are you okay? Are you lost? Do you want me to take you home?" And he's going to get up and say, "Yes, I want to go home." And before you know it, she's gone. I do feel like a car was involved also because of that chariot. So she was definitely, I feel like, driving a car, and I think that it was just, she. I still feel like there's some connection here. Like maybe it wasn't premeditated towards him. Maybe it was because I feel like that Four of Cups, when I pull cards, they don't always just mean for one thing. I can look at them and use that for multiple things. So the Four of Cups, I do feel like this is kind of that daydreaming card, right? It's, I'm thinking of doing this. I want to do this. I'm waiting for the opportunity to do this. But I also feel like it represents Michael, and that he may have sat down and maybe even dozed off waiting for somebody to find him. And then that chariot, I do think that it represents now being on the run, but it also represents being in a car at the time when Michael was potentially taken. And then we have the Five of Cups reversed. And so this here, with this one here, I'm, the question was information about the person who took Michael. And so this is a woman that's really unstable. Mentally, emotionally especially, because this is a Cups card, so this is all about emotions, and this can be a pretty heavy depression card. And again, with it being reversed, it really shows the unstableness of this person. And it is, again, a woman. It's a female. This is depression. This is shame, regret. All right, so it almost makes me feel like this is a person who is back and forth erratically and goes from one extreme to the next. Okay, let me pull a couple more from this deck and then I'll switch decks. All right, more information on the woman, or excuse me, sorry, the person. I don't want to just go with woman 100%, but I do feel like it's a woman. So more information on the person or persons responsible for Michael Vaughan's disappearance. Motive, what happened, why, what happened. The Devil. Okay, so the Devil. The Sun card, reversed. The Three of Cups. Temperance, reversed. Death card, reversed. Another for sale sign. We've got another dreamy card, that Knight of Cups. Three of Wands. Yeah. The okay, so the World card. All right, so again, let me just pull this one out here. The Death card. She left. All right, she left. And with the neighborhood, with these two houses, it makes me feel like she potentially could have been in that nearby neighborhood. And, after this happened, had to leave. That Devil card, the Devil card and the Death card aren't very great cards to come out. Even with the Death card and the Devil card coming out, I still feel like Michael is alive. I feel like he is alive. I really do. There's cards here that I would typically feel the opposite, but there's something about this particular case that I'm really getting this feeling that he is alive, and there's a person, a really sick woman out there who is wanting so desperately to be his mother, and took him for whatever reason. I felt like in the beginning that she had been watching them, okay, or Michael, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know if this is just a random, oh my God, there's that kid again that's always walking around. Well, I'm gonna do it. But I feel like there's with that one card that resembles the Magician, or was it the Eight of Wands? There's a little bit of a planning thing that I'm getting in that fantasizing card, that Four of Cups. There's a little bit of planning here, that that makes me feel like is coming into play. Three of Cups, the Sun card, or the Star card. Again, this is a mom and her 2 kids and a dog outside playing, having a good time. Yeah, I truly believe that this is Michael and potentially a sibling. I know that the baby is a girl and the other girl is an older girl, but I feel like this is Michael. And this is also, you know what this is? This is the splash pad. This is the splash pad. This is the splash pad. She's seen him. This woman has seen Michael at the splash pad. That's the connection. That's where she's seen him. She's seen him before. She recognized him. She recognized him at the splash pad. Interesting. Very interesting. 3 of Cups. Look at these. I mean, I know this one came out reversed, but this is having a good time. This is like celebration, having a good time, having fun. That is a place where he absolutely loved to go. He loved that. That is evident in these 2 cards here. That was a fun place for him. He enjoyed it. He laughed. He just had a good time. I think the whole family had a good time. Mom was having a good time going there and watching him play and playing with them. There's something about this one here, the 3 of Cups, even though it is that celebration kind of card, it's dark. It's a little bit darker in this deck. There's a moon there too, right? And the moon is all about illusions and secrets and things like that. And so there's something a little bit darker with this particular 3 of Cups than I normally pick up in a read. And then we've got that fire down there. So that fire, that's some serious energy, especially in a Cups card. You don't see a lot of fire in a Cups card. So that's interesting. That's interesting that fire is coming out. To me, that represents, obviously fire is passion, and, sometimes it can be anger and, whatever other kind of negative emotion you can come up with, right? Fire is, it's a shadow and a light, right? Like everything is duality. There's a good part of fire and there's a not so good part of fire. And it makes me wonder, what's up with this woman? Was there some sort of, she's got issues. If it's a female, which I feel like it is, there's some serious issues there with this person. But I feel like there's a connection to the splash pad. Temperance. Yeah, she's really... if you put these 2 together, okay, the Devil card and Temperance, right? This is a woman who has no control. She has no boundaries. This is a woman who is, in excess of everything. Zero boundaries. Boundaries. She's not right. There's something off about her, and I mean, like, seriously off about her. Let me just keep those up for a second. And we've got the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. There's a photo there too. And this is all about action. This is. Did she? It's almost like she thought about it. She fantasized about doing this. She's seen him. She's seen him at the splash pad. I don't know if this is a person who wanted to have a child and couldn't, or had a child and lost a child. I don't know, but there's this longing, this dreaming of doing something like this, and she's not right in the head. There's something off about her, and I truly believe, seen him at that splash pad. So I do think that she's in the area. The World card reversed. We've got the Knight of Swords. Again, action. The 3 of Wands reversed. The 2 of Pentacles reversed. So we've got change. Let me see here. All right, the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Did she do this? Did she try to do this before and it didn't work? It almost makes me feel like she tried to do this before and it didn't work. There's something here that's giving me this vibe deep down inside that she, at first I was a little bit confused as to whether this was just an opportunity that presented itself, and I do think that that's the case. But there's also something in this read that's making me feel like Michael was the target, like she was wanting Michael. She had seen him at that splash pad and there was something about him that she wanted. Whether she was, fantasizing about being his mother or what, but there was something about him that she wanted. And it makes me feel like there was some watching going on and some stalking, but this was an opportunity that presented itself because she had to wait until he was alone. She might have gotten the clue that he would often leave. Maybe she's seen him at the splash pad one day alone or something like that. But there's something here there's a little bit of both impromptu and a little bit of plan. Okay, so both of those are coming up. But this is like attempting and messing up and attempting. She's writing something, but she, dismisses it and throws it away, and then she starts over again. So this is like many attempts that had been potentially taken. Okay, so that's scary. There's something there that's really kind of scary. I wonder if he had ever said anything to his mom and dad or a sibling about somebody. Then again, it may not even, she could have just been very kind to him, and so it might not be anything that he thought anything of being so young, but it just makes me feel like there was something there where she had been waiting and watching for the right opportunity to present itself, and it did that night. And then we have the three of Wands. So we've got a window here, we've got a mailman outside the window. I mean, this is usually an exploration card. That's how I look at the Three of Wands. Or travel. It can be travel or exploring. But this one here, there's something, again, what's sticking out to me with this particular card tonight is that mailman behind her. That to me is important for whatever reason tonight. So there's something here. Could she be in the same mail delivery area? Maybe, not on the next street or the next street over, but someplace in that proximity. There's that possibility. Could the mailman have seen her? Could the mailman have seen something that he's not remembering? But I feel like there's something here that's being overlooked. That's the overall message that I'm getting from this card. It's being overlooked. She's not paying attention. She's off in, her thoughts. He's not. He's just focused on what he's doing. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's paying attention. They're just in their own worlds. They're right there, right next to each other, but they're in their own worlds. Nobody's looking. Nobody's paying attention. And I feel like that's what happened that night. Nobody was paying attention, including Dad, right? He was off doing his own thing. He had his own emotions that he was dealing with that night. I truly feel like he was feeling overwhelmed and snuck off to the back room just for some quiet time. Michael was 5, right, at that time, and so he very well could have been driving his dad crazy, as a normal 5-year-old could easily do. And I just can't help but to think back to that King of Cups and Dad just saying, "Ooh, I need a minute. Michael, you stay there, you play. I'm going to go and change your sister. I just need a second," and just go in there and kind of absorb that quietness. And again, just a lack of paying attention. But I feel like this was done literally in front of people, but nobody was paying attention. Again, this is kind of like a planning, right? Following directions. You're following a list. You have something written down. You have something in mind. There's something here that really screams out planned. Planned, but not planned, if that makes sense. Like planning for the right opportunity, and that right opportunity came. Everything just kind of aligned. The stars, everything aligned at that moment. Okay, it just so happened that all the ingredients came together and made this recipe. And unfortunately, it was, Michael being taken. So let me put these away here and pull out another deck. I haven't used my Edgar Allan Poe in a while, and so I'm going to use that and see what comes out. All right, Michael Vaughan. Michael Vaughan. More information about Michael Vaughan. What's going on? What happened? What was the motive here? What's any information about Michael Vaughan? Monkey. Monkey. What's going on with Monkey? Okay. 5 of Cups. That to me is Michael. That's Michael. 3 of Wands. So there's something about that 3 of Wands. The Queen of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. Let's pull one more. And the 2 of Wands. So I really feel like this 5 of Cups represents the family, but I also feel like it represents Michael, and that's another, to me, another validation that Michael is potentially alive. And unfortunately, though, he is very much wanting to go home. He is very much wanting to go home. He misses his mom. I mean, his mom is coming up really, really strong. I mean, she's coming up as the Queen of Cups reversed, and so that really kind of talks about the emotion. But then there's this tombstone. And normally I would look at that tombstone as a sign of potential passing away. But I can't help but to wonder if maybe mom, you know, when I watched that video on Michelle After Dark, there was a clip that she included, and the journalist asked her, does she believe that Michael's alive? And she said, yes, I believe he's alive. I know in my heart that he's alive. This almost concerns me, and it makes me wonder if the hope is slipping away. Okay, all those cups are now starting to spill. The hope, there's only one, like 2 cups left. All these cups over here have been knocked over, and so it's like each one of those cups represent another hope demolished, another possible lead, you know, didn't pan out. And there's like this sense of, I don't know how much more I can take of this. I don't know how much more disappointment I can take. Maybe it's not what we want. Maybe he has passed away, or maybe he is gone, and it's just really an overwhelming grief that they are experiencing, especially mom. Dad too, but mom is really strongly coming out to me. And I also feel like this is Michael. Even regardless of that tombstone, I feel like that's just mom starting to have doubts deep inside. I don't think she would ever admit it, even out loud. Maybe she would, but this is like a deep down fear inside that the worst has happened. But again, I don't feel like he is passed. I feel like he's still alive, and not in a good situation, because he's also wanting to come home. He is absolutely grief-stricken himself. And then we have this card here, the 3 of Wands. So again, exploring, you know, that's a travel card. It's got a whirlwind, it's the water. There's a boat here, there's 2 boats, but it's, you know, it's different from the normal 3 of Wands. It's literally a storm. It's a storm, you know, and not just any old storm, but a deadly storm. And so, again, it just kind of shows the environment of the home and the situation. It makes me feel like things at home, which is understandable, right? I mean, when you have something like this kind of a situation that happens, that can really destroy a family. That can destroy a family. And unfortunately, I feel like that is exactly what it's doing. And I think as time continues on, these feelings are getting worse and worse and worse, because hope is being lost each day that they don't find him. The Knight of Pentacles, again, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, the Knights are all about action, right? They're doing things. They're, you know, this is a person who is preparing. He's preparing for the future. He's, you know, he's not quite the king yet, but he's also not the page. So he's making his steps up. And so again, with it being reversed, it's like a lack of action. And so it's not, it's not at the beginning of the case, but we're definitely far from the end as well, right? I think they're still working very hard on this case. And even though it's been a year, all right, it's been a year, or a little over a year actually, they're still very much, I think, working on this case. It's not probably as active as it was in the beginning, but they do, I think, follow up on leads and make sure that they do as much as they can to keep his name out there. I think that applies to mom and dad as well. They're not probably as, it's over a year. And how do you, especially if you have 3 other children, I think it's 3, right? If you have 3 other children, it's, you kind of have to, I don't know how people do it. You have to provide for those other 3 children. You have to continue living. You have to go back to work. You have to pay bills and get groceries, right? You just have to do those normal things, but you're probably numb on the inside while you're doing it. You are deep down inside, beyond grief stricken. But this also, with this coming out reverse, tells me that they are doing that, but they're doing it in that numb state. They're doing it just out of routine, out of having to do it. So the mom and dad, I don't feel are coming up as having anything to do with it. I really don't. I feel like there is a female though, and it's a very sick female that is involved or responsible for this. The Two of Wands makes me feel like mom and dad, and I think that they are, they're again, I picked up earlier that there's anger, but I think for the most part they do stick together, but deep down inside, mom is angry at him. She is angry at him, and I believe behind closed doors she has just leashed that anger out onto him. And he is just, this is also him. This is also dad. And so he is just, this is him. That what this guy looks like in this card is dad, right? And also Michael. But, this to me really does show the connection. The Two of Wands, that's a passion card. And so it does show the connection between these two. And it makes me feel like they are going to kind of hold it together, but there's a lot of issues there to be expected. All right, what can the police do to find Michael? What could the police be doing right now to help find Michael? What could the police be doing right now to help find Michael? What could be done to help find Michael? Page of Swords. And I dropped this one over here, so I'm going to take that. The Two of Swords reversed, and the Page of Swords is also reversed. We have the Nine of Wands reversed, Three of Swords, and we have the Ten of Wands. All right, so the Ten of Wands is that completion. It's an ending or a completion, but it's also a new beginning. And so I feel like when I look at this, because the question is what can the police do to help find Michael? And if I get an ending card coming out, it makes me feel like they need to just kind of start fresh. They need to just redo it. They need to start from day one, and just with a clear, they're missing something. There's something that they've missed, and they have to go back to the beginning and check everything. Okay, with this Two of Swords here reversed, he's blindfolded. There's something right in front of them that they have completely overlooked. And then there's this, again, it's odd. It reminds me of the Death card with that moth above him, because it makes me think of a butterfly changes. And so to me, there's just something there that happened right in front of their eyes that I feel like it's possible they could have had this person near them. This person was in their reach, but for whatever reason, they've overlooked it. We've also got a full moon. So we've got illusions, we've got secrets, there's something they've missed. They have to go back to the beginning. They have to go back to the beginning with fresh eyes and check everything again. They've overlooked something. Page of Swords, again, this is something new. This is younger, somebody new, intelligent. It's a female also. Again, I don't know anything about this case, so I don't know anything about the law enforcement that is on this case, and it doesn't sound like a Kylie Rodney case or a Delphi case or anything that was botched from the get-go. So I don't know the history of law enforcement with Michael Vaughan's case, but I feel like fresh eyes need to be brought in. Okay, it's like they have to come in with a clean slate, and this to me is, again, it's like a beginning. It's a beginning card. It's a younger person. It's a younger stage. It's somebody also very intelligent, eager to learn, eager to want to learn, eager to do things. To me, this is kind of, even though it's not a wands, I'm picking up some creativity. It's like they need somebody to think outside of the box. They need to bring in some new people of all ages and have them look at this case all over again. Go back to day one. Look at it all over again. There's something that they had right in front of them and they completely neglected to see it. The Nine of Wands reversed. So this is like a protective barrier. This is a guard of some kind. So with it being reversed, like they put their guard down. They put their guard down. But then we've got that devil face up at the top. This is probably one of the creepier Nine of Wands that I've ever seen, just because of this devil face up here. It really gives the Nine of Wands a whole new meaning. This could be the devil card, to be honest with you. Protection, protection, protection barrier. I don't know. I'm going to have to pull a clarifier on that one, because given the question, what can the police do? Protection. Lack of protection. Lack of protection. Not having protection. Not having... All right. And then we've got the Three of Swords. So I really don't get any bad vibe from this particular law enforcement. I really do feel like this case has hit home on many of the people working this case. I think that they have gotten, you know what? That's what I wonder is going on here. I wonder if there's people in this particular law enforcement agency that have gotten a little bit too emotional with the case. Like they are just as attached now as as if Michael was their family. And because of that, I believe that they have limited their sight. They are not considering all possible scenarios. There's something here to me with that blindfold that was literally right in front of their eyes and they failed to see it. And I'm also looking at this Ten of Wands here, and I really see that as Michael. And I know I've used this card in other readings and I had different readings on there, but I also go with what I'm picking up inside. And so I feel like this is more Michael from a car, okay, screaming, like trying to, get home, wondering what's going on, scared, and then people around that are just oblivious to what's happening, right? Remember that Three of Wands where the mailman was there and they're just kind of in their own world. So there's people around and they see it, but they don't see it. They see it, but they don't see it. And then right next to that, again, because this is a law enforcement question, it's like there was something there all along. Something there all along that they just completely missed. But also the emotional connection that they have to this case. It's like we really need, they really need some new people. They need some new people, maybe a different agency or officers from a different agency or a different agency entirely to come in and kind of rework this case. And like I said, I don't think it's because of any kind of negligence or anything like that. It's just more or less, they've gotten so emotionally connected to this case that they are no longer able to look at it in an unbiased or clear way. All right, so let me just go ahead and ask really quick before I end this video the outcome. You know, is Michael going to be found? Is Michael going to be found? Is little monkey going to be found? Is he ever going to be able to come back home to his family? Is Michael ever going to be found? Is he going to be able to come home to his family? Oh, wow, the Ten of Cups. So that really makes me feel good with that rainbow. We've got mom and dad there. I mean, there's some things about this card that are sticking out to me that are not so positive, right? We've got those skulls in the garden. But I am going to, you know, it's like, you know, I want to look at this in a positive light with that rainbow home. Let me switch decks. Let me switch decks because I don't want to get influenced by the images. All right. Is Michael Vaughan ever going to be found? Is Michael Vaughan ever going to be able to come home to his family? Come home to his mom and dad and his sisters and his brothers? Michael Vaughan, Monkey. Monkey, is Monkey ever going to be able to come home? Is he ever going to be found? Ugh. Yeah, the Ten of Swords doesn't give me a good feeling. I mean, that is a no right off the bat, but I don't want to end it on this. I don't want to end it like that. I don't, yeah, and then the Knight of Wands, the King of Cups, Knight of Wands being reversed. It's like, you know, trying to get to your destination, but not quite making it, not quite making it. What's the King of Cups mean? What's the King of Cups represent? The Fool. The Fool card. 0. The Nothing. The Before card. The Beginning. We have an ending, a completion, and we have a beginning. Well, this is not even the beginning. This is before the beginning. It doesn't, this here doesn't give me a good feeling about the outcome, but I feel seriously like, you know, I do believe that Michael's alive. I believe that Michael's alive. And I feel like there's a female that's involved with why he's gone. And there's a little bit of creepiness involved in this case, like the watching and seeing Michael at that splash pad. So there's something here going on. This woman, I think, was waiting for the right opportunity. But with the ten of Swords and, you know, this Fool card here, we've got this ending and the beginning. So what is the ending and what is the beginning? Is it a new life? Is it you know, being forced into this new life that he, you know, because I do feel like he's alive, but, you know, is that going to be forever? I mean, there's something, you know, what is the beginning? What is the beginning? I don't know. Is that a spiritual rebirth? Is that, let me pull one more here. Outcome from Michael Vaughan. Outcome from Michael Vaughan. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm going to stop. So we've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed. I feel like there's still hope if they could bring in new people onto the case and maybe just go back to the beginning, see if there's anything that they've overlooked, any people that they've overlooked, any people that have been to that splash pad. Is there anyone in the neighborhood or in the surrounding area that once lived there and maybe moved away? Have they checked people who have sold their homes or possibly, you know, ended their leases in apartments that, you know, like I said, maybe have moved? you know, are there regular goers at the splash pad? Did anybody notice anybody that was, you know, kind of weird and stuck out? I don't know. There's just something here there's a connection to everything. There's a connection. This woman knows this family, but I don't think knows them. This is like a, you know, she might have been at the splash pad or the neighborhood park or walking a dog or something like that. It's somebody that they wouldn't necessarily think of, but it's somebody that they've come in contact with. And she's seen Michael, but I don't feel like this is a good outcome. I really don't. I think there's still hope, but as of the energy right now, this could change. That's how I'm going to leave it. This could change tomorrow. Somebody could see him. Somebody could see Michael. And this whole thing could be just, you know, over. He could be found. So the energy can change from day to day, minute to minute, right? But as of right this minute, it doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. And I don't want to keep pulling cards because I'm already over an hour, so I apologize. All right, guys, this was Michael Vaughan's reading. Again, I feel like he is alive, so let's just send out some prayers to Michael and to his parents and his family, his siblings, and that he does get found and he does get brought home to his mom and dad where he belongs. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to hopefully try to get another video up tomorrow. That's the plan as of right now. That could also change, but as of right now, that's the plan. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and thank you so much.